Cross-instance configuration. AutoSys workload automation cross-instance configuration on Windows. As a result of this module, we will learn what cross-instance dependencies are in AutoSys workload automation, how to configure cross-instance dependencies with AutoSys workload automation on the Windows platform, how to define a job dependent on a job in another AutoSys workload automation instance, and how to test the cross-instance dependencies configuration. In this video, we will demonstrate how to configure dependencies between instances on a Windows AutoSys server. For this demonstration, we will use two AutoSys instances running on the same computer, the ACE instance and the PRD instance. However, it is possible to have multiple instances of AutoSys running simultaneously on one or more computers. Different AutoSys instances can communicate to schedule workloads between them. This enables defining jobs that have dependencies on jobs running on other instances, known as cross-instance job dependencies. A job with these dependencies starts based on the other job's status. To establish communication between instances, we designate one instance as an external instance of the other. The external instance configuration between the instances must be defined in both directions. To define the external instance, we need to know the external instance's application server name and the port number it uses. To create the cross-instance configuration, we use GIL commands. To make it easier to enter the commands, we have created a txt file with the GIL subcommands and attributes required to create the external instance. For the ACE instance that will communicate with the PRD instance, we provide the name of the instance, the application server name, and the PRD application server port, which is 9001. To define ACE as an external instance for PRD, we provide the name of the instance, ACE, the application server, and the port of the application server, which is 9000. If we want to know the port number, we can go to the AutoSys administrator. Select the instance we need to find the port for, go to the application server administration, and here we can get the port. In this case, the ACE instance communicates through the application server port 9000. To get the PRD instance information, navigate back to the Instance Administration section, then choose PRD. And go to the Application Server Administration. We confirm that PRD uses port 9001. Now, we are going to execute the GIL command on both instances. In this case, on the ACE AutoSys command prompt, and on the PRD command prompt. On the ACE command prompt, we enter the GIL command, followed by an open-angled bracket and the name of the PRD txt file we created previously with the GIL subcommands. In the ACE instance, we will load the definitions from the PRD file. The PRD file contains the instructions to create PRD as an external instance, in this case, for the ACE instance. We press Enter. The change has been applied successfully. Now we go to the PRD command prompt to define ACE as an external instance of PRD. We enter the GIL command followed by an open-angled bracket and the name of the ACE txt file with the instructions to create ACE as an external instance. The change has been applied successfully. Now we use the autorep command with the xall option to list all defined external instances. It shows that we have an external ACE instance that communicates through port 9000 on this server. We go now to the ACE prompt and do the same. We enter the autorep command with the xall option. The ACE has an external instance which is the PRD and communicates through port 9001. With this, we have defined the external instances. Now we are going to create some jobs to test the cross-instance configuration. We go to the web UI and test the external instance configuration we have just created. We navigate to the PRD instance. In this instance, there is a box and a job. If we open the box, we can see that inside the box we have defined the job. And that job, in turn, will wait for a job that will run in the ACE instance. In the ACE instance, we have a simple job. This job must be executed before the job in the PRD instance. The job in the PRD instance will wait until this job is completed. We have opened the log for both instances to monitor what will happen. This is the log of the PRD instance. And this is the log of the ACE instance. This is to monitor if everything is running accordingly, and to see how notifications are being sent between the instances. Let's start running the box. We select the option for Start to run the box on the PRD instance. The box is in running status. The job inside the box is activated and waiting for the job on the ACE instance to execute. Now let's go to ACE instance and execute the ACE job. We select the Force Start option to execute the job. We go to the logs. We can see the ACE job is starting, and how the ACE instance notifies the PRD instance that the job is starting, and also how it notifies the PRD instance that the job is now running. The communication between instances is established, and here in the PRD log, we can see the different statuses that the job is having in the ACE instance. It shows the ACE job is running. This confirms the communication between PRD and ACE instances is working. After successful completion of the ACE job, the ACE instance will inform PRD to initiate the PRD job. If we go to the web UI, the PRD job is still in status activated. If we go back to the ACE log, it shows that the job is still running. Let's wait for the ACE job to finish so that the PRD job can be executed. The ACE job has finished, its status is now success, and the PRD instance was notified. In the PRD log, we can see that once it was notified about the ACE job success status, the PRD job immediately starts. And now the job is running. If we go to the web UI, we can also see the PRD job is running. Let's wait for it to finish. How do we define the ACE job as an external instance dependency for the PRD job? If we go to the PRD job and select the Edit option, on the job definition, we enter the condition that the PRD job will wait for the ACE job circumflex followed by the name of the instance where the job will run, in this case the ACE instance. So what we are saying is that the PRD_job_test1 job is going to wait for the success of the ACE_job_test1 on the ACE instance. If we check again the status, we can see the PRD job and box have finished and are in success status. We have completed the cross-instance configuration on a Windows AutoSys server and demonstrated how the dependencies between instances work. In this module, we have learned Cross-instance dependency allows us to define jobs that have dependencies on jobs running on other AutoSys instances. In the cross-instance configuration, one instance is defined as an external instance of the other using GIL commands on Windows. The external instance configuration between the instances must be defined in both directions. The local instance sends event commands to the external instance to notify when the status of a job with cross-instance dependencies changes. The dependent job on the external instance conditionally starts based on the status of the job on the other instance.